struggle and the injustice people in the trans community face daily, but simply that I likely would not have taken the time to fully immerse myself in someone else's experiences, that I would not have been able to comprehend what it truly means to live with a constant disconnect between your heart, body, and soul. I have been witness to the childhood of a person who, by the age of 3, clearly had a disconnect between body and brain. Before her transition, I saw my sister struggle as an awkward little boy, always off in his own world. I saw sadness in moments that should have been filled with happiness. I saw a little boy fight against his natural essence in an attempt to avoid being picked on or scolded. I saw and felt his embarrassment more times than I care to count. And to this day, it haunts me. Though we are living in a more accepting world than we were 20 years ago, my sister still lives in fear. I have been with her when someone spooks her in public, that is, when someone calls her out as trans. I have seen the energy of others around us shift when she walks into a room. I have seen the stares. I have also seen my sister fully celebrated. I have seen her feel beautiful and happy and confident, and I have seen how quickly, with a single look or word, that all can be erased, taken away from her. This is the reason why I want to share with you our story, the story of my sister. I hope to have you see, to have you understand and empathize with Marizol's journey, to recognize that she, like all people in the world, deserves to feel safe and beloved, that she deserves to be acknowledged and addressed as the woman she is and always has been. Marizol and I believe that individuals have the ability to take control of their gender and sexual identities, and that others should respect their choices. We also recognize that the realities of fully realizing oneself and being properly affirmed by others can be messy. For over 19 years, our family and friends knew Marizol by a different gender and name. That knowledge and the habits that formed over years were not easy to revise. Other family members and I would slip, using the wrong pronouns or name. This is especially complicated when referring to Marizol before her transition. The story that follows, our story, has been divided into 3 sections. Part 1, Jose. Part 2, Beginnings of a Transition. And Part 3, Marizol. A short interlude from Marizol comes at the beginning of Part 2. The book closes with an epilogue from Marizol and a list of resources that we hope is useful to those seeking help and advice for themselves and friends and family. In the first 2 sections, I speak freely about my youngest brother, Jose, and use male gender pronouns. This is uncomfortable for me, painful even, because I know that name and those pronouns to be not just incorrect, but also insulting and hurtful. I want to be clear that it is never okay to call out or refer to a trans individual by their birth name. Dead naming, or the practice of uttering or publishing the name that a trans person used prior to transition, according to the LGBTQ news and entertainment magazine The Advocate, is an act of violence, one that demeans and insults and harms. After a lot of discussion and thought, Marizol and I have decided to be open about the name she was given at birth. But it was a sensitive and highly personal decision, one that not all trans folk would make. It does not give anyone the permission to call her by that name or to call other trans persons by the name or gender they were assigned at birth. On a similar note, we want to be true to Marizol's experience as she came to discover her gender identity, and as she embarked on her journey of transitioning. A major part of these experiences was getting to know others in the LGBTQ+ community, including those at all stages of their transitions. In a few instances, this means describing certain individuals before they began to transition, and thus by the gender assigned to them at birth, not as the gender they identify with. We've chosen to be clear about this distinction because it was significant for Marizol to see others begin the process of transitioning and to learn that years later, an individual she once knew also had transitioned. We want to be explicit, however, that we are not dead naming these individuals, but only describing them this way because of how influential